Hi, everyone, and welcome. My name is Natasha. I'm your friendly neighborhood employment specialist here at La Clés Employment Services. We're located in the Penetang Machine Square Mall the Village Square Mall in Penetang. And today we're just going to bring to you a short presentation, and we're going to be talking about networking today. So what is networking? Well, actually, we're going to be talking about a few different networking scenarios. We're going to be talking about scenarios for networking for introverts, newcomers, also networking in a small rural community. We're also going to give you some out-of-the-box networking ideas, as well as some conversation starters, just so you can kind of be a better networker. So what is networking? For me, networking, it kind of looks like this. So it's a big group of people, everyone's kind of talking, either you're going to a conference, anything like that. According to Oxford Languages, networking is the action of interacting with others to exchange information and develop professional or social contacts. So it's really just about kind of getting out there, getting your name known, meeting new people. So why is networking so important? Networking is important when you're looking for a job because on average, they say about 15% of jobs are posted. So that leaves about 85% of the jobs on the job market that aren't being posted, aren't being talked about. So they're either internal hires, or I've worked for some companies that they rather hire someone that an employee knows, because then it's more of like a family business. There's kind of already that connection. So they say 85% of the jobs aren't even posted. So we're going to call this the hidden job market. So what's the best way to get into that hidden job market? It's networking. So for me, networking comes very easy. I'm an extrovert. For example, my coworker, I like to go out. I like to talk to people. I like getting those contacts, meeting new people and knowing their stories, right? My coworker, she is a little bit more of an introvert. For her, it's very difficult to do networking scenarios. So if she knows that she has a networking event to go to the next day, she will lose sleep. She gets very, very nervous. She even gets sometimes physically sick. So for her, networking, not her jam. She's more of an introvert. So how do we help if you're an introvert, right? So the best rule to follow is the 2/3 rule. So the 2/3 rule is all about doing something that's kind of comfortable as an introvert, a little bit more in your comfort zone, 2/3 of the time, and then pushing yourself out of your boundary about 1/3 of the time. So comfort zones, let's talk about that. So as an introvert, you might like, being at home by yourself. That's okay. You can do networking many different ways. You can use Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, social media is great for networking. You can start a blog. Small work gathering or friend gathering, if you're comfortable with that, that's great for networking as well. You can join a small class. Webinars even are great, because even if you don't have your camera on, or if you do, that's awesome. You're getting your face out there, but at least you're getting your name out there. And 9 times out of 10, you're joining a webinar that it's either in your work field or that you're interested in, right? So you're going to meet other people of that same nature, of those same interests or work field. So it's kind of a little bit easier to network with those people. You can also use existing contacts too, right? These are people that you're already a little bit comfortable talking to. These could be your neighbors. These could be, friends that you already have. And so it's just a lot easier to kind of network that way if you're already comfortable with someone. Now, my little yellow zone here is kind of that 1/3 where you would be stepping out of your comfort zone. So this could be attending larger events, going to a conference, joining a social group that interests you. You can also turn one of these, online contacts into a personal, in-person meeting. That might be a little bit stepping out of your comfort zone as well. So I think as an introvert, well, not me, sorry, knowing an introvert, it's all about making those small little steps too. So if you are attending, let's say, going to a work conference or attending a bigger event that you're used to, it's not about meeting everyone and getting to talk to everyone. It's really about setting a small goal, maybe talking to one person, two people. You know, if you set that small goal for yourself, it's going to be a lot easier to attain, instead of being like, I need to talk to everyone, I need to get out there, It's going to get overwhelming, and then it's just going to come back to you. You're going to get so much anxiety, and then you're not going to want to do it, right? You're going to end up sitting at the bar and being like, how am I going to talk to all these people, right? So yeah, and also be yourself. It's so much easier to be yourself when you're meeting someone than to try and be someone else. It's exhausting, right? If you're more of a quiet person, that's okay. People are here to kind of like get to know everyone, I guess, you know? So yeah, that's kind of like an example of the 2/3 rule. Now, let's say you're a newcomer into the country. This can be a little bit difficult, right? How do I get those contacts in the first place, right? No one really knows you. No one knows your value yet, you know? So it's really difficult to kind of get out there and get to know people. The best way as a newcomer to get to do some networking is volunteering. Volunteering is a great way, because if you volunteer in something in your field that you want to eventually work in, you're getting to know employers, you're getting to know people in that field, you're making those contacts, you're, you know, working with people, you're showing your work ethic, stuff like that. Another great contact to have if you're a newcomer is someone that speaks the national languages. So here in Canada, we have 2 national languages, French and English. I'm sure everyone knows. But it's always good to have that contact with someone who can speak either one or both of the languages, because then that helps you kind of practice that language. And so you can kind of like, you know, be prepared when you do get a job, if you don't already speak the language, obviously. And that can also turn into like a really, really great friendship too. Now let's talk about a little bit more of like smaller rural communities, right? So small communities are kind of known for like everyone knows everyone kind of like not is in everyone's business, but kind of like ends up knowing everyone's business because everyone does know everyone. It's a small town. You're going to run into everyone, right? So protecting your reputation is super, super important when you're networking in a small town, right? People talk, like I said, everyone knows everyone. And social media as well is super important to make sure that your social media is appropriate. If you think that employers aren't going to creep your Facebook, Instagram, TikTok even, you're kidding yourself, you know? Employers want to know who they're hiring. And if your social media is open and your social media is not private or it's public, employers will go and check it out. You know, they're going to do a quick Google search for your name and they're going to see. So make sure your social media is very, very either like protected or appropriate. Keeping a good contact with your current employer or past employers or coworkers, again, in that small rural town or community, is super important too, because you're going to need those references. Again, with everyone knowing everyone, if you're working for someone and you have like a bad relationship or things ended badly with that person, chances are that owner of that company knows other owners of the companies because, again, networking, right? So we really, really have to make sure that we're professional and that our reputation is protected. So now you might be wondering, like, okay, so like, how do I so I moved into a small town. I don't really know anyone. Everyone's kind of like knows everyone already. I'm kind of intimidated. How do I get into that? There's great ways of doing that. So when I moved into my small little rural town, I joined a class. I joined just like a yoga class and just something that I enjoyed doing. And I ended up making so many contacts just out of that one class. Again, you just start talking to people, you know, how's your day? What's going on? And it just kind of snowballs, right? And you get to know those people, and then those people know other people and they introduce you. And then that's how you kind of get involved. There's church events, there's, fairs, community events. You can do volunteering again, just classes, anything like that. A great example of kind of out of the box networking is, so it's kind of like a little bit of a story for you. So a coworker, her dad, we'll call him Paul. Paul had to be in the hospital for a few days, and he had to share a room with another man. This other man had kidney problems. And Paul was just talking with the other man. I mean, they're in there for a few days, so you're bound to get to chatting. And the man with the kidney problems was saying, my bed at home is very uncomfortable. I'm constantly adjusting. I don't know what to do. And it just so happens that Paul owned his own mattress store. And Paul was like, well, hey, when you get out of the hospital, if you still are uncomfortable with your mattress, come and see me, and we can see what we can do for you. And that's exactly what happened. The man got out of the hospital. Paul was out of the hospital as well. The man came and saw Paul and bought a mattress. So it was kind of a win-win, right? The man got a more comfortable mattress and Paul made a sale. So that's kind of like an out of the box networking idea, because it's like, you don't really think of networking when you're like in the hospital, right? But it can happen anywhere. You could be at the grocery store cashing out, and your cashier is, ringing through your groceries, and you're like, hey, how's your day? And, it just snowballs into a conversation, and they know a certain person, you know a certain person, and you make contact that way, So networking can really, really be anywhere. So being locked down for about a year and a half, everyone is a little bit socially awkward nowadays, right? Everyone has kind of been at home for the most part, and you might feel very nervous about going up to someone and starting a conversation, and you might not know, you might be asking yourself, okay, well, great, I want to network, but how do I get that started? We're like some icebreakers, right? So here are a few conversation starters that can help you out. So basically, like the basics, how are you, right? This kind of opens up so that that person can start talking about their day. Then you can it snowballs that way. Have you attended an event like this before? This is more for like if you're like at a class or a conference, anything like that. That is a great conversation starter, because you can either get to know other conferences that person has been at that might be interested for you. It could also be, I went to this one conference, it was great. You should really check it out. Or I met this one person, you should really know them too. And it kind of snowballs that way. You get to know some contacts, right? What does a typical day look like for you? Now, this is great because you get to know that person's day-to-day life. Again, you're getting to know that person a little bit deeper. You could reword this question. You could always say, what's your day-to-day look like? So another one would be, do you have any plans over the holidays? Now, this is, yes, it has to be kind of like closer to a holiday, but I mean, there's always something going on, right? It could be a long weekend. It could be, a holiday that's coming up. Guys, it's August and I'm already talking about Halloween. So there is no, length of time we're going to talk about a holiday. Either like, what have you done on a holiday, or like, are any holidays that you're looking forward to, stuff like that. The next one is offer a compliment. This is personally my favorite. I love complimenting people. It's a great icebreaker for me because I now look like, I make it known that I'm a friendly person and it's okay to come and talk to me because I'm offering you a compliment. I'm friendly. Hi, like, I really like your hair, or anything like that. It can be something super small. Like, I like your earrings, And so that kind of opens up the conversation. It allows that person to feel a little bit more comfortable with you. And it allows you to kind of break the ice again. So again, have you read any good books, seen any good movies? Another good question to kind of get to know that person a little bit better. And then all of this conversation kind of comes down to why we're here, right? In this presentation is to get a job, right? So this can all trickle down into, what do you do? What company do you work for? And so that kind of gets the door open to start talking about their company, what they do. And then that next question can be, is your company hiring? And so these are all great ways to get your conversation started. And yeah, so those are kind of like some tips and tricks for you for networking. That's kind of like our small little presentation. If you guys have any questions or would like to get in contact with us, here's our contact information. Again, we're here to help with anyone who's looking for a job or looking to hire, anything like that. So come and talk to us. We can definitely help you out. Yeah, so that ends our presentation for today. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.